For that, we need to figure out which map we're going to play on, Devin.
Where will we be? We did see Clubhouse earlier, which was a little bit rare at the moment, but
Consulate Coastline both banned out, of course, as this is Europe and we play Coastline all the time here. It's our favorite map in Ibiza. So it seems like we're not going to be playing it here.
Definitely no Clubhouse or Villa, though. So
where will we play on Border?
I could see Border being a potential candidate here, or Oregon. Bank, I just don't see as being as likely, and Chaos is going to take that right off. So.
Vitality, I mean, both maps are pretty strong for them, Border or Oregon, so whichever they ban, it still would work very well for them. I'm not sure about going for Oregon. Yeah,
nope,
they're going to go for it, but I'm really not sure about that decision. Because it's usually the map where everybody's relatively comfortable on it. So unless you're really, really good at certain executions, there's always the potential for upset on Oregon, especially in the best of one format. So I would, I'd still be skeptical. But it's still a good map, historically speaking, for Vitality.
The upside for Vitality is they can play the off-bomb sites. They can play Dining Kitchen. They can play in Tower as well. So this is a map where they have a slight advantage in that sense. So something to consider is this is a map where that usually is a big problem for a lot of teams.
Yeah, flexibility on Oregon is definitely something to keep in mind. But community vote. Let's see what you guys think about this. As I can kind of guess where this should be going. There you go. I think this is a fair enough way of evaluating things, even though it's a bit more towards Vitality's side, because mathematically speaking, you shouldn't be expecting that much on Vitality's end. But with pedigree behind them, I guess this makes quite a bit of sense.
Yeah, I mean, and they are a team that hasn't changed their roster in a while as well. They're fairly stable. Unfortunately, that stable is, like I said, a bit more like coasting, but at least they are somewhat of a safer bet in terms of not throwing the game too badly, not making a huge amount of mistakes, more just the execution's working sometimes and it's not at others.
Who would have thought that pushing into a site the last 8 minutes when there's a Mira, a Smoke, there's a Mira, Smoke, Echo, and a Maestro still alive, and maybe possibly a Pulse, is a bad idea. I mean,
who would have thought?
I don't want to, throw things out here, but that definitely would not be a great spot. And Chaos will ban out the first operator. That'll be the Capitao, an operator we've seen quite a bit of recently, but especially on a map like Oregon. Lion banned out here makes a lot of sense. I can already predict Vitality banning the Echo on defense.
Very likely. I mean, they haven't done it every time, but it's been, it's pretty much a good idea.
Relatively consistent. So Chaos should be banning the Mira after this, but I wonder if this will be the Echo. Yeah, there you go. It's like I read their minds. We speak the same language, literally. I don't speak Swedish, unfortunately.
Maybe next year. The question is, what will be the last one here? Will it be
Mira or Valkyrie?
Yeah, very likely. There we go. Somewhat predictable. The Capitao, of course, being the odd one out there. That is, of course, going to help for those laundry defenses, especially, but also, I'd say, with upstairs as well in terms of kids' bedroom. We'll see where they're going to go first here. Laundry, yep, that makes the most sense.
Are they going to go Blackbeard Glass combo? Oh,
that will be fun. Yeah, we haven't seen Zephyr on Glass a whole lot lately. It's good to see him back on that if he can continue to be successful with it. But yeah, that combo, Spark's very good Blackbeard as well, so this is kind of operators they know and they know how to play well, but combined, they're going to have to really watch out for those long angles, especially.
There you go.
Oh, he's going to sneak off with it, though. And I was kind of expecting Clash. That's why I figured the Capitao.
So here's the thing. Chaos have been known for shield play on attack.
And that's exactly what the banned Capitao.
You give them a shield, and they're like, oh, we now have a shield on defense. Don't mind if I do. And there you go.
Now, Renewals is usually the shield main, so it's interesting to see that it's going to be, I believe, Secretly was on it. But yeah, they're definitely known for a lot of shield play. I mean, hopefully Vitality saw that coming with the Capitao ban, because that is the main objective. That's the biggest counter to Clash. So Clash was very likely to come out if it wasn't banned. They could predict that, of course, Echo was going to be banned by Vitality so that they weren't going to have to worry about a Clash ban. So it seems like Chaos strategized that a bit to be able to exploit Clash. The question is, will that actually work or not? It's going to be the real trick here. They are going to have at least some counter to Clash in the sense of being able to use the Zofia to be able to knock the shield, but that requires teamwork in a way that Capitao doesn't.
There's multiple ways of playing the Clash, obviously. In this case, there you go. Just in case.
Hello, right on outside.
Just to make sure where they're spawning.
Yeah.
And, well, now they have the info. Secret League's going to play this from T3. It's going to be very interesting. We've seen this actually a couple of days ago, but I'm not too familiar with the strategy, having been away for a bit. So, you know, you'll blame that on me. Mea culpa. That's Latin, another dead language.
Indeed. Well, they are going to go for a top floor take first, it looks like. A little bit of a safer play, especially when you're doing the Clash. It's probably not going to be upstairs. So once you take this and take control of it, you could potentially deny Clash from getting up here and being a problem for you. Seems like a good strategy. And Zephyr going for some free, easy picks that are not going to happen, unfortunately. Oh, almost got the opportunity, though.
Yeah, you see the Clash just falling back as Vitality in the meantime trying to push in from multiple angles and push down any of the defenders from Chaos. Crips is already upstairs trying to cause some havoc himself, but Rafael is already en route with his drone, and Spark is right behind to capitalize. There's the Clash. He'll hit one. He'll try to drop below, and that's the easiest way to deal with her. Unfortunately, it's Renewals on the side. But look at the amount of damage that's been done to both the Clash and the Vigil. Elysian's just going to peek in with a Pokeball, but not going to get shot just yet. We'll see the Zofia still on the opposite end of the hallway.
Unfortunately, they didn't keep that top floor control too well, so it looks like the Clash was able to sneak up there. Unfortunately for the Thatcher there, he didn't get an EMP down in time, because had he been able to get an EMP down, it would actually have been disabled the ability to stun him, which gives you the opportunity, again, to go for a melee hit like he was doing, and then the shot. Because that is the big difficulty trying to close that distance, is this taser.
The thing is, he's playing on there, Spark, and was still able to almost 2v1 up close between the Clash and the Vigil.
Had there not been the Vigil, I think he could have been able to take that Clash and win the fight eventually.
Easy kill there with the amount of health that was left. You kind of tickle your opponent with Clash until they can get closer up. Ooh. But Renewal is still low on health. He'll get the kill on Bibu, but rotate it down with the Zofia to play inside of the meeting hall secretly, with the TMP finishing off by Day. As Vitality kind of just go down. Snooken not really, Zephyr not really expecting Snooken to just walk up with the smoke and find the kill. Kind of goes down, and there you go. The Clash is working fine. You can slow your opponents down. It's a long range. I think it's 15 meters here that you can hit your opponents with the slowdown. So, yeah, the change is not yet in live play. Unfortunately, Rafael is kind of feeling that that bump.
Seconds remaining.
Well, he's going to try and win some fights, but I mean, there's really very little you could do.
No.
Not only from winning in terms of winning fights, but the Clash being able to just keep you slowed down means you can't really move around very well to be able to take fights, or let alone try and go for a plant. So that round, unfortunately, it seemed like Vitality didn't really ever hold any kind of map control. They let both the Vigil and the Clash kind of run around and do whatever they wanted. They didn't start with a coordinated take in terms of, let's take this floor and move down from here. They were all approaching from a lot of different angles. That is typical Vitality, though. They're going to go and try and pinch all the roamers by playing from multiple different angles. But Clash is a different beast in terms of trying to fight that, because you can't just directly 1v1 most of the time. So you end up in situations where normally you would go for an attack on a roamer, and you can't win that fight. Renewals also, though, with some great plays with that Vigil that they couldn't seem to drone out, because droning is their main way of getting those pinches down and establishing that early map control. So kind of the ways that we see Vitality play were both denied by the Clash and the Vigil. So well played by Chaos, completely countering them. They're going to fake the Clash this time and 6-pick over to the Jaeger. And we're going to see Rafael with the Dokkaebi this time. So,
well, the thing is, Vitality's lineup here of operators works regardless of the site, I guess.
Yeah.
Kind of expecting bedroom is obviously, with Chaos having one laundry, they'll have to push away from that site. They'll be playing in tower or bedroom. They're on kids' bedroom this time. You have technically three DMRs to play on Vitality's side. And you also have the Habana, so you have a bit of hard breaching if you would like to use that. You're not really going to rely too much on the Thermite to push in exactly from here. You can use it. It works very well. But having the Zofia to combo with the Habana works very well as well. You can use the impacts from the Zofia to shut down any bandit batteries that are set upstairs from the bedroom and leading into the rooms, basically, I guess, right?
Yep. Oh. Zephyr almost with a freebie again. Unfortunately, didn't work out. But it is nice to see the Sparks going to be sticking to that Blackberry, as you were talking about all the DMRs, the firepower they'll have. But they're taking the same approach as last time. Let's approach from multiple angles, try and pinch people out. This time, Chaos aren't running that same kind of, as Kix would say, disruption strategy. But they are still struggling to make sure they establish this map control. And of course, this is the usual Vitality, and it takes them quite a while. But usually they'll start picking off defenders one by one. In this case, in dorms, they're going to have to make sure that the downstairs stays clear as well. But taking T3 here is their first goal. Once they can establish control there, they're going to be able to potentially go for a kid's bedroom, which is typically why you're going to bring a Blackbeard more often than not. But you can use them on big window as well. But with the combo of the two, there's Spark getting the kill. Now they can pinch 2 window angles. You can have Blackbeard on the kid's window, and then the big window with Glaz. Between the two, you can pinch out a lot of defenders, and then push in with the rest, bring in the phone calls. They're in a good position here.
And you have Smokes of Zephyr, Smokes of Rafael, so you can combo both of those together to have quite a bit of coverage for
Plus,
the Glaz.
Bibu to be able to throw in any kind of the stuns and things like that to go for a potential plant in either of the 2 rooms.
All of this is to let you know that Vitality have every single advantage in this situation.
Again, it's up to execution from them. They are at least in a good start, though. They took that T3 control. They took down the Jaeger, which was going to be someone that potentially could have been on a roam as well. So they just need to actually get inside with more of the attackers to establish more of that map control. Right now, they're spending a lot of time rotating around outside.
I wonder how the ADSs have been set up in and around the site. Those might be a bit of a saving grace for Chaos, should Vitality decide on a quick rush with their utility. And can't really spot too much of them, but there you go. Wish we had the button where we can see everything.
Yeah.
That's why you should be picking IQ, because we had that bug in the past. It was great.
I know. It was one of the best bugs outside of Raptor legs.
Yeah, that's very true. Well, Renewals now will re-maneuver, put himself in the showers, as Snooken will be double-teamed here. He's got 2 players on either side.
Well, at least Capital's banned, so they can't burn him out.
Yeah, well, that's one positive part, I guess. Can use the gas canister to isolate one window and rotate away here, but the call coming in, they know exactly where he's at, and this is why some Blackbeard players will go for Mork 17 instead of the SR25, but 12 seconds left on the clock. Typical Vitality fashion. Now it's time for them to go, and Bibu's taking damage, but Red Groove's already gotten the kill on Vide. Snooken pulling out the shotgun, 2 seconds left. Where's the diffuser? Where is everybody? Bibu finally going in on the site. Spark will get one, but there's no time as the Soviet drops on the floor.
Again,
what was that?
Way too much time rotating around outside. I mean, yeah, you had the ability to rotate wherever you wanted to, but if you're not taking map control and pushing them into or corralling the defenders where you want them to be or getting picks, you can't go for the plant. Like we were talking about earlier, they had what they needed to plant in that room.
They had every single possible advantage.
Unfortunate.
For a minute and a half.
Yeah.
And then, hey, how about we push the last 10
I feel like they lack confidence sometimes for those pushes when they haven't gotten enough picks. I mean, more often than not, Vitality will get 2 picks before they go for an execution at the end. They don't always. We see them in a lot of 5v5s as well at the very end. But when you got the Smoke still alive like that, in a situation where he can just stand between the 2 windows and you don't have a plan to take him out, I mean, it's actually not that hard because they had so many people left alive. They could have taken control of dining, gone into kitchen, shot him from below because they had him pinned. You don't even need a shotgun or anything like that. You can just go spray the floor, and you're likely to take them out. Because if he moves from those little tickles, he's going to get shot by the other 2 attackers on the windows. And they had all the time to do that. So it was down to them really making a poor choice on the Smoke especially. Because if they killed the Smoke, the rest of that push actually probably would have worked. Because you saw them, Bibu trying to play in the Smoke at the end, just not working out. And they didn't have the ability to see through a lot of that to do a lot of damage outside of Glaz.
Now it's Chaos that are playing the site that we usually see Vitality on. Yeah. They're going to try to play kitchen and dining. We'll see where Reynolds sets his Evil Eyes up. He's already set him up, and he's going to play with deployable shield. So there's a couple of those to use in this.
What I'm interested to see is whether or not the Clash contributes to this defense, because there is a big choke point right there. And so that's the thing, is it's considered a nice entry point for the attackers once they open up the tower wall right into where the sofa's at, with the general plant area. But a Clash can be there to walk right up to that and even potentially deny entry right there, not to mention choke points either in the bathroom, showers, or the hallway itself. So depending on how they're playing and if you read into that, Clash can be a big part of stalling that out.
Yeah, and of course, you play the Clash here, you sacrifice the castle, which is a usual pick on the site. for that, as you mentioned, there's a couple of spots. You can just set them up in dining and just have them look through the doorway that leads in from the outside. You can play in the showers, or you can play in the main hallway. And all three of those are pretty darn strong positions, as they're only mono blocks. There's no other way for you to maneuver around the Clash outside of going upstairs and, you know, getting lucky with some shots from the top floor.
Yeah, and Britt's going to have to be careful here to make sure he doesn't get picked early, because he's going to be very important to get that wall open. Otherwise, you have to push through an extremely difficult choke point in that doorway. So we'll see if he can get stuff set up for this. They don't have a Thatcher or anything to take out the batteries, so they're going to have to do it the hard way. But this is where Chaos is going to make that hard. Nice kill there from Red Groove, though, starting things out. He's just going to aggressively walk and kill Zafir. What is happening here for Vitality? They cannot deal with secretly on Clash.
This is definitely not the Vitality that we're used to. And Red Groove is just staying outside. They're trying to pinch him out, but he's not going to be moving anytime soon. Oh, he runs past Spark, but there you go. Spark will land the shot onto Red Groove, but it's a 4v3. And at least, Vitality still have their Heart Breacher alive. But
at this point, I'm looking forward to the side switch so we can see Vitality on defense, because their attacks are just not working out here. A minute left, though, which is, I guess, not bad for them, but they haven't really gotten a whole lot of control here.
Reynolds waiting in for the pixel angle here as he spots the rotation.
We see so much of this with the play from Maestro, is those pixel peaks with deployable shields.
Perfect position for the Goo Mine here, alerting Maestro position of the Dokkaebi. Reynolds is taking quite a bit of damage here, but he is able to fall back and play from the inside. The Scripps will get one. The shotgun's been pulled out, but Dokkaebi wins it. Reynolds, though, getting the kill. The angle onto Rafa. Last alive is Spark as he comes in from the back of the bathroom corridor. Maestro setting up for the defense. Make sure he can rotate away if need be. Unfortunately, he'll go down, though. Spark will reveal his position, and the Clash will make it extra complicated for him to deal with. Stun grenades still are available, but Crips is ready for him in the cross angle, and Top Hat won't save you here, Spark, as go down, and Chaos yet again, another round.
Definitely looking like Vitality are struggling to figure out how to deal with the way Chaos are playing. They're playing kind of a mix of passive and aggressive. They're playing passive enough that Vitality are not able to get a lot of picks on any kind of roamers by the way that they normally play, but then aggressive whenever they have an opportunity to take a 1v1 in situations where they might have some advantage, like we saw with the Clash, like we saw with the Blackbeard, the Maestro, I mean not the Blackbeard, the Maestro, and a lot of the other defenders able to just push on them whenever they saw any kind of opportunity. Vitality aren't able to get really anything going, and they're still, again, outside of the Blackbeard pushing in, they're not taking any map control. They're just, we're going to hang out outside and try and find some opportunity. And they're also not really covering for each other for trades either. In these 1v1s that Chaos are able to take advantage of, they'll catch, oh, hey, a Vitality player right here, freebie.
Let's run the Clash another operator into him.
Yeah, and then you know what Chaos will do? They'll work as a team and have someone else do the actual shooting, potentially too, while they're distracted by the Clash. Just their complete inability to deal with just a few bits of the way Chaos is playing, combined with the fact that Chaos is literally countering what Vitality normally do, because, as we said before, they rarely have changed much. I mean, this is absolutely working out for Chaos, and credit to them for playing against, Vitality. They need to push Vitality out of their comfort zone, and losing 3 rounds in a row like that, I hope will.
Well, we'll go back to Launder here with Chaos. As when they played this site, they did not even allow Vitality to open up the hatches to get down onto the site. So Vitality this time, they'll be bringing both Heart Breachers. I assume this will be a push from Dirt.
Yeah, they are going double Heart Breachers instead of a Glass this time, which honestly I think works out a little bit better for them in a lot of the way that they play. I mean, they also have both the Blackbeard and they have the Blackbeard and the Glass still. So they're going for committing to a lot of let's open things up, fire the angles. But hopefully they're going to do it from inside the building this time instead of trying to do it all outside. Secretly, though, in a good position to completely hold T3, because it is very hard to get a Clash out here. He needs a buddy up here to crossfire for him. Put a Blackbeard on the other window. This could be easy, and that's what we're going to see Spark do potentially. He rotates over.
It's still fairly difficult, because he can just stand on the side. That shield from the Clash is fairly large.
Well, that's why you have Bibu hit with the lifelines.
Yep. So you can combo that with one of the DMRs, and possibly finish him off.
There we go. They're starting
will come in and
The
trying to get
timing.
the shots on the side, but no! The T5 from Crips on the opposite end will land it. And that's now the Blackbeard lost, and the Zofia is on the floor secretly for the finisher. Vitality. Oh my god.
Baited into it. Very nicely played, though, getting that shot from Crips because he knew that they were pressuring, and all secretly had to do was call that out. Fortunately, their timing was completely off in terms of getting the shots down, or they could have maybe at least killed Clash in that process. But again, no trades coming out here as they are all focused on just trying to get inside.
Yeah, Vitality are rolling for initiative, but every single time it's a 0 on that dice roll.
Critical miss.
Critical miss. There is not a single thing they're able to do here against Chaos, who are absolutely abusing the ever-living hell out of the Clash in every single possible position.
Well, it's unfortunate they have to kind of permaban Echo, or they could obviously do something about that future matches. Chaos, I don't know if this would really work against a lot of other teams, but against Vitality, this is definitely their kryptonite at the moment.
I mean, Vitality is very well known for being the team that is still holding angles with 10 seconds left on the clock.
They certainly haven't changed that.
Yeah, and that's probably the problem here. Who would have thought, right?
Well, at least finally they take care of the Clash, but 45 seconds left. Bride at low health as well. Not looking good.
Yeah, they'll have to deal with the smoke that's still alive. There's still goo mines. Information will be very scarce with the Mute having already set his jammers. All in all, complicated position to be in. Both smoke grenades have already been used here by Zephyr. So Chaos are sitting tight as they just burn the time, and perfect timing on the smoke canister. Smoker will have to pick up the canister off the floor as it was misthrown, but Zephyr will hit the shot. In the meantime, though, Crips is trying to come in from the back. Renewals will get one on Zephyr, as Crips is just waiting in to come in from the side. Bride with one, Bride with two. It turns into a 2v1, and Crips goes down. Vitality! Wow. They actually grab the round.
And Bride with the lowest health of them actually pulls it off. I mean, Zephyr opened things up a little bit, but wow, well played. They pushed him way too aggressively. They thought
you had the advantage, man.
To be fair, he was on very low health, and if they knew that, I can understand wanting to aggressively push him, because all you got to land is one bullet. The guy's dead, you win the round. Unfortunately, Bride landed way more of those. The Bearing 9 wall doesn't have the best recoil at the moment. If you put your body, 2 meters from it, it's going to work still. So, unfortunate for Chaos, as I would call that a throw. They had all the advantage. All they had to do was play it. But that was, again, kind of the style that they were playing. When they looked for an opportunity, they would kind of lash out after the turtling, but just they didn't play the time advantage they had that time.
Yep, they had every single advantage. Again, they had the manpower, they had the time, they had the health, and the equipment.
Yep.
Smoke had already started using his canisters at the perfect time, and it just, let's just get too aggressive and peek.
Well, that is fortunate for Vitality. At least they pick up 1 point here as they are still down by 2, and this is their final attack round. So hopefully we'll see things maybe change for them a little bit on their defense, but they could still score 1 more point here against Chaos, who are finally, again, for the second time only, not bringing Clash.
Yeah, we'll see how this works out. It's more of a standard setup. This is going to put Vitality on edge so far.
So the big thing for me is, are they going to take care of the smoke this time? Is he going to be able to just sit there, Snook, and just like, hey, I'll hang out kids all day?
It's another reason why you ban the Capitao. You know that it's going to be much easier for you to play the smoke in the bedroom by just not having to worry about it.
But see, here's the mistake that I see. Is you bring what is going on for secretly?
He can't vault over it. What is going on?
You must just, the way you displayed the floor must have caused just a slight issue.
Oh,
but,
no.
That is going to be interesting, I suppose, for that defense if they needed to. I mean, the ADS is to protect someone in attic. If you can't be an attic, it's not going to do a whole lot for you. Bibu, though, with a nice opening kill will definitely help. Unfortunately, secretly spending way too much time trying to vault.
I don't know what happened.
Is now going to have to try and vault out of the grave. I question why they bring Sledge, though, instead of Buck, as I was going to say earlier, for that kitchen pressure. If they can kill the Maestro in there, or at least pressure him out, they can again try and get that smoke from below, but you can't do that with Sledge unless you're going to try and do those grenades, which is a much touchier thing.
We used to see that a lot with Team Secret, and maybe if they play Oregon, we'll get to see that on there. And Leon is one of those players that'll always be playing with the Buck, have the
push right
behind
into
it with
the
the
kitchen.
Havana. Yeah, just open up the wall here from small tower and just keep moving through the kitchen, clear things out. Very methodical.
It works most of the time, too. Fortunately for Vitality, they are again spending a lot of time outside here for the first minute, but at least it's only been a minute and they've got a kill. So this is finally a little bit of momentum swinging their way. They are starting to take some map control. They have the tower at least, getting set up for some pressure. Unfortunately, he cannot open that wall because of the batteries. So he is in a tough spot because he does not have a Thatcher or anything to take those out. Zephyr could potentially nade those from the position if he throws it up the hatch, depending on whether or not he is being pressured. But he's actually expecting someone up there.
Yeah, they're unsure if there's somebody.
There might have been anyone who was able to vault.
It's people actually just, okay, there we go. So they were using that that Maestro Evil Eye to try and take down the Thermite Charge, and I don't know if they took down one of them. But things do end up working in the way of Vitality. They open up the sidewall here in the attic, and they were just going to watch the flanks for now.
Well, they have to turn this into pressure pretty soon here because Chaos are still given free reign to rotate around a lot of the map if need be, because most of the focus has been on taking this side with Meeting and Tower on the north side. So Renewals is able to kind of run around here. Red Groove as well. He's taking a bit of damage, but he's still flexible, throwing goo mines around a lot of the map, I could imagine. So with this lack of control of most of the rest, at least now they're going to push Dining Kitchen, but with only 39 seconds left, this is not even close to the bomb site.
This is like having 3 hours if you're Vitality.
Yeah.
But they have the advantage. Again, they took one player down. They have all the operators that are needed. How will they actually get on the site? Red Groove has taken quite a bit of damage himself.
Here they are again. Snookin, though, actually could get himself killed here, pushing...
Oh!
There we go, finally. ADS is not going to save him that time.
Now they burn it, but there's not much time left here. There might be only 3 alive for Chaos, but that might be more than enough for them. They both line up, but it's not enough for Newells with one in the hipfire. He spots one right above him, goes in for the spray. He'll drop the defused planter. That's 0 seconds on the clock, and Chaos again! 4 rounds on the board, all due to timing.
Oh, Renewals. That's the thing, though, is, okay, so you get down to 30 seconds left. In that situation, the easiest read in the world to say Vitality is coming through big window. You don't have to be a genius to know exactly what they're going to do for that moment, and that's why they were peeking it. That's why they were pre-firing it. Maestro didn't even have to reload. He could just hit fire it like he's Terminator, just firing out the windows of the building.
Hasta la vista, baby. And they all die. They all die through the window every single time. This is why we mentioned the way that Leon plays it, for example, and other teams play it similarly.
It's priority. Their priorities are in the wrong order.
100%. You're doing multiple things, but you're not really going through the checklist in the correct order, and it means that you haven't cleared the positions in the correct way. And with that not being done well, there's always going to be one point that's going to come back and bite you in the back. And here, Vitality are going to try to play the clash themselves.
Yeah, this should be interesting. If Rafael can pull it off and turn the tables, it would be interesting. But there might not be a lot of tables left to turn at 4-1. And he's going to 6-pick to the Thatcher, interestingly enough.
My, how the turntables.
Oh, boy. Well, this attacker lineup is a little bit different. They're going to go with the Buck, which I think is generally a little bit better than what they were running with. Not so much focusing on Glaz and Blackbeard and things like that. They are going to, however, bring the other DMR of Dokkaebi. And, of course, the typical Zofia and Habana combo. So
we'll see how Snookin plays this. In the past, he's done fairly well on the Buck.
Yeah, he's
some of his grenades have been hit or miss.
I like Secretly's Buck play a little bit better, to be honest. But either way, Snookin's pretty good Buck.
5 seconds
we'll
left.
See how Rafael does. That's the more important part of
is
this.
will they be able to do anything close to what we saw from Chaos?
The thing is, Chaos were not really doing anything out of the ordinary. It's just, what is... Oh,
they just like to play really...
Is he playing the P10 and not the TMP?
You know, maybe if he's better at it. Or maybe he didn't even have it configured because he never plays that up.
I don't know, man. I don't know. It's very odd. Oddly enough, it's Rafael as well with 0 frags on here. So.
Yeah. Well, Renewal's already taken a bit of damage as well, though. Is a good start here for Vitality. It's going to give him the ability to pressure a little bit more, but he gets his job done to help set things up for Secretly to open up the hatch. His job done now. He's going to rotate around. In the meantime, they are at least droning to take some top floor control potentially, so we'll see if they actually push in and take inside map control faster than we saw from Vitality in the clash. Doesn't really manage to stop the hatch from getting open, unfortunately.
Yeah, it just falls back. That's all that Clash needs, right? To use her...
If you had impacts on Clash, it would have been very easy to solve that problem there. So, unfortunately for Renewals, or I mean, Rafael, he doesn't pull it off.
I wonder what he's running in terms of equipment on that Clash. Again, we're highlighting her quite a bit.
Yep, barbed wire.
So we're highlighting the Clash quite a bit, but there's a reason behind it. Not only is she a bit of a crutch operator, but with the way that things have been done by Chaos on their end, when they're playing on the defense, Vitality have to pull something off that is equally as fantastic, or else it's not going to look too pretty. Bibu is going to take a bit of damage here, as Secretly is setting up. Going for the flash up under, and that just pushes the Clash back for a bit.
Much better time management here from Chaos. They've got a lot of map control. They've got the hatch open. They're pushing Meeting Hall. If they can take out Rafael, I'm seeing this go Chaos's way.
Though mistiming here on the grenades. Still see someone trying to go in for the pinch in the back. So Renewal's trying to make it a bit more complicated. You'll see most of Vitality have fallen back on the site.
That's the important thing, right? They've managed to push them back out of Meeting Hall, so that's a good start. Now they need to get set up for the execute, but they still have a lot of time to position for that first. Unfortunately, their tower control lacking means Zephyr, Spark, and Rafael all in tower right now. And I don't think they're expecting that here. So at least tries to go for a freebie, and unfortunately not landing it.
Yeah, just a bullet going through the wall and hitting Rafael on the side. The Jaeger is in the back, which is a position that you expect here. But Zephyr will remain alive now.
At least with everyone committed to tower for the most part, they are in a good position to go for a plant, but they need to do it quickly before Vitality can rotate.
Now, speaking of quickly, I think it's time to go. Secretly goes in for the plant as gas canisters should get thrown up, and Secretly will go down and get burned off by Bride. So Chaos will lose in one of the players. Other two tagged quite considerably. 16 seconds left in the clock as Red Groove is not going to be tricked here by the Clash. Scripps goes in with the CZ-75. Zephyr with a refrag on Red Groove and Bride, and it's Bibu with one of the evil eyes. Zephyr with the final one. Vitality end up playing this perfectly here and just using the tight angles to their advantage. Unfortunately, the flash that was thrown in played against Chaos on it, and I think they just took too much time and didn't really coordinate correctly to go in. Just Vitality have to make sure Chaos don't get a 5th round on the board.
Yep, and I think that was a good example of them turning the tables, because it was the exact same situation of they had to spend a lot of time and resources just trying to take out Rafael, and they never successfully did. And it just goes to show that it's all about timing and coordination when you don't have Capitao, and it's so much more difficult.
Yep. You need two players up close, but the Clash will never play solo.
Yeah. And even when you do, most of the time the slowdown effect is enough to get you positioning advantage where you're not going to be countered very easily because you're slowing down whoever's trying and push you. And at the same time, the other player's trying to get into a position to coordinate the attack, but you're able to move around the room a little bit faster than the person that's pushing you, so you get the ability to control your positioning better than they can control yours. So either way, though, that did work out for them. We'll see if Rafael can pull it off again in this bomb site. But like I said, they have the buck, so they can play from below a little bit more. So we'll see if they go for like you're talking about Leon-style attack onto the kitchen early on, take control of that, open up some of the kids' bedroom floor.
Yeah, a lot of soft destruction here on Chaos.
We might have a sound issue at the moment, so it looks like we might need to rehost. Unfortunate.
We're waiting on our admin, and they'll give us the information of what we should be doing in this situation, and there we go. Yep. We will have the rehost called out. So, started off very well for Chaos.
Yep.
Vitality not really able to find a way to deal with their Clash.
And they didn't even run it every time, but still, I mean, it was one attack win. That's it out of all that. So
it's a bit complicated because then you go in on the defense and you're like, okay, how will Vitality actually play against this? Will the rounds that they lost be too much of a negative effect on their morale for them to really be able to overcome?
I don't think so, because they managed to pull off one win at least, so they should prove they could do it to an extent. And then the fact that they were able to do the same thing back to Chaos, I got to imagine was a little bit of a motivation booster in terms of like, we can do that as well. Let's just play our game, but also use their own thing against them, because they don't seem to know how to counter it any better than we do. So,
and that's the thing I'm afraid of. I'm afraid of this game turning into something extremely sloppy. Where
turning into... Fortunately, that's what we've seen for the most part for about, what, 6 rounds
now? Well, now we'll actually see Chaos maybe doing that. That's the big problem, because you ban out the Capitao in the hopes of getting as many rounds as possible on the defense.
Which they did.
Clash, which they did, obviously, so kudos for them.
Mission accomplished.
I don't want to, but we don't want to George W it and say mission accomplished before it's done, because they're going to play on the attacking side, and that first round was not convincing at all. They kind of rushed in saying, like, okay, we have the advantage going for a plant, but it was just the Habana running in with no support behind her.
To be fair, though, I do think their setup was much better. They had a lot more time to work with. They got into better positions. The only thing they didn't deal with was continuing to keep meeting hall and tower control, so that they didn't have to worry about it, so that the Clash would have to come in from behind, from the tower downstairs, and push that way in a situation where it's like that doesn't matter as much because you're just trying to get a plant down.
I mean, technically, the one attack win that Vitality got with the Habana at the end of 3K shouldn't have happened, theoretically. So looking at it, Chaos should have had all those 5 rounds.
I mean, I would say Chaos honestly only really made one mistake, and that was not baiting out smoke. They had time advantage. All they needed to do was start to execute quicker, because they took a bit of time to get set up for it. You don't need to when you're just baiting. When you're baiting, you don't need a setup. You just need someone to look like they're going to plant. And if they don't smoke you, then commit to it.
Yeah.
But if they do, then you just pull off. And unfortunately, I mean, yeah, they got 2 smokes out on that death. And that, you know, they only had to bait out 1 more, but they took so long doing that they were able to come up again on them, and then they had to fight meeting hall because they were so worried about
and
the
the
back.
future was all a bit more in the open, and then you had to deal with more easier information to be had because there was Maestro being...
I think a problem with them too is they weren't set up for like a smoke plant or anything like that as well, and they could have gone for a smoke plant, faked it as being by the laundry machine, and gotten instead for just at the bottom of the stairs or behind the little hamper. There was definitely ways they could have played that. It just seemed like they weren't as prepared. Like, they were prepared to get all that map control, but then they weren't prepared to do anything with it as quickly as they should have. But I don't want to beat on them too much because I think they had a lot of potential to have made that work. Just a small mistake or two, and the inability to deal with Rafael was really what turned the tables on them.
We'll see what happens here, because Chaos, they're in a safer spot at 0.6 here in the standings with Vitality at 7. So Vitality have a lot more pressure on their backs.
Yeah.
If it's a tie, then Chaos are in a good position to retain their spot at number 6. However, if Vitality lose this, then that's not too great.
It would be surprising as well because Vitality's track record on this is much better than Chaos, as both teams have played it twice. Chaos lost both their matches on Oregon, whereas Vitality won one and then tied against G2 on it. So they have a very good Oregon. It's just this Clash play is just throwing everything into Chaos.
I'm not sure if Vitality actually tied G2. The only teams that tied G2...
Unless I looked at that incorrectly.
Were secret, it was Secret and Maka, the only 2 teams.
Sometimes those tables are a little hard to read, but...
Yeah, but Vitality, they haven't really done too well throughout the season, but still, I am expecting them to play a bit better than what we saw on their attacking side, because even when they had every single advantage, 3 rounds in a row, every single time, it's just, hey, let's forget the plant. And it reminds me of Cloud9. But that aside, we're ready to head back into the game. So Oregon, go back into it. Right now, we're sitting at a 4-1?
4-2.
4-2.
Yep.
And advantage, there we go, 4-2 advantage for Chaos. See if Vitality can bring this one back.
Right back to dorms. Here we go. See if they can defend that successfully as they did Laundry. This will be a trickier one here. They are going to go with, unless they 6 pick off of it, Rafael going to play that Clash again. See.
Of course, they have to play the very same operators that they had before.
Yeah, well, of course. I mean, even if you 6 pick, you have to 6 pick to the same one. So we'll see there. Taking a bit of time to decide, and no one actually going to 6 pick. Well, you don't really need to too much when you're.
You just need to have the same operators when you head back into the game. So. I guess at that point, kind of scouted things out. Doesn't really matter much. Rafael pulling up the Clash as we saw before. We'll get to see how Vitality set up around this site with the Clash, because we've seen Chaos be successful with this by playing her in T3 tower.
Yep.
So definitely a possibility in here for Vitality, but it does require support from your teammates. So Bride on the opposite end using that using the window by the armory to his advantage to shoot at the tower. It also requires Spark to be running around Rafael as well and playing the lower angles of the tower to help him out at the same time. And it also requires Chaos to really screw it up on the push inside. Having Red Groove on the Zofia definitely does help, and combining this with grenades, Snooken's Buck, will make things maybe a bit easier against Rafael's Clash, but Clash has insane explosive resistance, I have to say.
Yeah, absolutely. It is definitely problematic to deal with at the moment. of course. So they have some utility to deal with it. You can kind of use the Ash Breach charge to kind of do a little bit of damage if you need to.
Explosives don't really do too much against her.
I mean, if you can get it like behind
yeah.
the shield is the thing. Is obviously the much like Montaigne and stuff, you can block a lot of explosive damage. So it's more just trying to get something behind. You also have some grenades from Snooken as well, but yeah, it is tricky to pull off.
Yeah, I think from my testing, I think even a grenade at the feet was doing like 38 damage or something.
Yes.
So it's not a ton.
Attackers have located a bomb.
Yeah, she's pretty darn strong. Clash.
Yeah.
Super Saiyan mode.
Super Saiyan.
All right, Crips walking in here, realizing there's not really much stopping him on B. There's only the smoke playing in the back.
Well, we'll see if they can actually start to turn into execute from that information. I mean, they've taken control of a lot of this top floor very quickly. So, unfortunately, they are not actually going to the point, but they don't. There we go.
He just walks in. The site is completely open. He'll find the second one as well.
No.
And a Chaos drop. Rafal on the floor. Where's your strategy now? Now they have to come in as the diffuser is being planted. Crips ready to find the angle at the same time. Secretly just maneuvers himself indoor main hall. Secret's already on the floor, and they'll be picked up. But Renewals find the shot on Bride. Redgrove in the meantime, and Bibu. What is Vitality doing here? Spark's the last one alive, and Chaos just walk into the site.
It was okay. So Vitality are very known, I would think, at this point for playing retake on this site. It is something they've been doing for a long time. But against Chaos, who are actually playing time correctly, huge mistake, huge misplay. They were not ready for any of that. Chaos, like, I got to imagine about 30 seconds before they went for the take, they're just like, can we just walk into sight here? Is anyone home? It was very much in their favor, and Vitality just didn't do anything to set up for that in a way that they could actually successfully push back on it. So I got to question what the plan was there, because you even had the Clash just sitting there potentially on cams. So they're going to try tower. Maybe they'll have better success there.
Would like to correct myself, by the way. G2, Penta back then in week 6 of the league, did tie against Vitality. So that was on this very same map.
It is a surprise, though. It is something you wouldn't have expected.
When I was mentioning Team Secret, that was Penta actually getting the victory over back then IDK when they came back from DreamHack Valencia the week after, and that was a victory for Penta, now G2 6-2 overall. So I'd like to correct myself. Sometimes my memory fails as I get older. Almost 25.
This is the reason I write everything down.
Yeah.
But yeah, Vitality gonna go for the harder bomb site now, which is an interesting choice. They could have easily played dorms again, and I don't know, played it the normal way everyone else does, instead of playing it for retake, but they're at least not going to try and play the Clash play this time, because that just did not work last time. So this is going to be a tricky bomb site to hold, though. Again, this is a site for retake mostly. You cannot play super hard turtle defense on this bomb site unless you've got a ton of utility that they just can't deal with for whatever reason, but that is really not going to be the case here. So cameras here from Spark are going to be a big difference in whether or not they can succeed. So he's got to hope these don't get spotted, because without those cams, you are generally blind without peeking out some of maybe the kids' bedroom windows or some of the other windows, or even garage door, if you have any kind of map control to do that.
So now Chaos just scouting in, making sure they can keep tabs on their opponents. Usually you'll see there's an IQ in play. They'll run all the way down to the basement, play from Laundry, have control of the lower part of the tower, so that defenders can't always rotate in that area. So we might be seeing Crips on that play if he's going to play the Dokkaebi downstairs, or maybe even the Ash of Renewals. Snooken setting up his cameras here, as Renewals just burning out the ADS, and I'll take down the barbed wire from the outside. Chaos setting up, and gotta have tabs on how Vitality are playing this.
This is looking pretty good for Chaos in terms of they are starting to check things off the checklist, so to speak, to set up for this. The Bibu and Zephyr here are going to be the big game changers, I think, in whether or not they can succeed in at least holding up here for a significant period of time, or better yet, getting a kill. Brede as well could potentially be part of that if there was a rotate from the attic. I couldn't see from the angle if there was a hole there or not. But this is there's quite a few members of Chaos ready to pinch this with some utility. I gotta imagine phone calls and lifelines, if coordinated well, could start to pinch out, maybe starting with kids, depending on how Zephyr plays this. This is it's not the greatest idea to have the smoke this far off site, with the SMG-11 being in the state it is. But, you know, he's going to try and play it.
Pull it.
Hits
Passing
the window.
it's right next to the smoke here, but we'll survive.
Hopefully won't repeat that. Red Groove actually doing the Vitality thing, holding an angle, absolutely pays off. That is step one of taking the top floor. Phone calls coming out now.
Yeah, he did. We'll
Wow.
get the refrag though, but the diffuser's already been set. Reynolds just walks in realizing that, yeah, you want to play retakes? We'll just do the same thing as before. He's still on the floor, and Reynolds will hit the headshot on Spark, taking him out. Rafal with the peek out. Bibu with one more, but secretly will refract, turn it to 2v2. Spot the bandit, he's down. Rafal though will try to stick the diffuser. No, he walks away from it in the last second, and secretly to nab the last two, as Chaos will get the win. Not something we expected at all, but with the way that Chaos played here in Oregon, that was 100% a deserved victory.
Yeah, absolutely. You could see it in just the way that they were playing was absolutely, at all times, counter to whatever Vitality were doing, whether it be on defense or offense. You saw it on offense, like every time they saw an opportunity, they were like, oh, okay. And I think that's really the thing to highlight from Chaos, was finding opportunities and exploiting them. Every single time they could. Didn't always work out, but the one time it didn't work out was the only round that they won on attack.
Yeah.
Was when they did a little bit too much aggression. And honestly, I don't think it was necessarily the wrong call. Just Brede won those fights, and because he was at such low health, they could have even potentially gone for an impact nade at the right time, if because it was the Legion that rushed him last, if he had one left. But that being said, obviously a 6-2 victory is nice for Chaos to help secure their spot, and now it's getting very dangerous for Vitality that we might not see them next season.
It's heartbreaking because, yeah, this is a similar position looking back at ENCE in Season 7. And
if I'm Vitality right now, I'm thinking boot camp time during the break with Rio. Whether they get relegated or not, they really need to just take some time and rebuild the way they play from scratch, because unfortunately it's kind of past its expiration date.
And it's odd because Vitality is one of the teams that has the most support staff in terms of the organization in general and their coaching squad. BIOS, things have to work out a bit better than this.
Yeah. Well, I hope this match was a good highlight and a turning point for them. I hope they can look at it, see what was not working, take advantage of all the opportunity to change those things. I mean, everyone on that team is very capable. It's just rethinking how they play, because Chaos was able to just completely exploit it every time, especially those attack rounds from Chaos were a perfect highlight of it as well. They're like, we could just walk into site and plant. And
they did it twice.
Yeah. So either way, though, great play by Chaos today. I think this is one of the better matches I've seen from them, because they were absolutely playing counter to the other team as much as possible. And that's what you do when you're playing at the top of your game, is execute on every opportunity that you have and make them count. So good for them. Hopefully, if they stick around here in the Pro League, they can continue to play like that and maybe step things up, because they haven't had the best track record.
Yeah. Even when we go to LAN events for DreamHack, etc., there's always something missing for the cleanup. But I guess now that might be the big turning point for Chaos. But we have our interview lined up, Devin, so let's go and have a talk with Crips. Spam these chips to help out Crips. Ciao, Crips, how are you?
I'm doing just fine. How you doing? Welcome back.
Thank you very much, Crips. I'm happy to be back, no matter what Twitch chat says. But it was a pretty fantastic game from you guys. I'm gonna start up right at the top. The pick on Oregon. When Vitality went for that and banning border, how were you guys reacting? Were you just ready for this very standard map?
Well, yeah, we prepared a lot for this, so yes, we were prepared and pretty happy about the pick.
It's a bit odd. I was kind of expecting the border there to come out, but Clash, that's the elephant in the room, to say the least. When do you play Clash on T3? When do you play her close up to her teammates? There seems to be so many different ways to play her, but it all depends on what you're planning. So how are things going in your mind at that?
Well, when we started playing Clash, we just tried to stay close together so we could actually assist the Clash player, which was secretly this case, and we did success doing that by peeking the windows. Meanwhile, they didn't expect that. Yeah,
they really kind of struggled trying to find a way. So focused on the Clash that you cannot just are able to pounce against them. There were so many DMRs focusing on that T3. There's just a peek from the armory. It was very easy to pick off a couple players. Last point, couple rounds at the end, when you guys were on the attack, you just droned in, found the whole site open, and just pushed in. And how was it?
It felt really nice.
So what was it? Just like you're doing your standard default droning early on in the round, or like, hey, by the way, there's only the smoke on the site. Let's just rush in.
Well, yeah, we kind of droned the site, just like general droning, and we saw that there was only one on site, and secretly told me to just push in and kill him. So that's what I did.
And it was just completely open. I'm kind of dumbfounded at what happened there, because you were expecting a bit more focus on it. Maybe Vitality was playing the retake to really end up working with it. Now, for tower attack, was that the same situation as well? Because you droned in and saw not many people on it.
Yeah, that's basically it. We saw that we could have a plant potential, and so we just entered site. It turned out it worked, and we're pretty happy with that as well.
Okay, that's pretty darn convincing, I have to say. There's some pretty interesting plays. I mean, who would have thought that if you give a team that's very comfortable playing shields on the attack, a shield on defense, that they're going to play it and play it very effectively, right? But anything you'd like to say to your fans that are watching the game here, Krebs?
I'd like to thank all of you guys who support us. Really means a lot, and thank you for following our journey.
All right, well, thank you very much. Congratulations again on your win against Team Vitality as you start bit by bit to secure your spot in Pro League 4 next season. Thank you very much. Good night.
Thank you.